could send it to folks if they want to watch it.
That's right. Okay, so my name's Jacob Larson. Today we're with a gentleman by the name of Kim Price, and we're gonna do a brief talk about whatever Kim wants to talk about. So we've known each other for a long time. How long have we known each other?
Man, I want to say over 10 years.
Yeah, at least. I mean, we've had
least.
some nightmare jobs and stuff we've had to do together that hasn't.
Right.
We don't want to talk about or remember some contractors that weren't the greatest, but we got through it. So
got it.
Anyway, so I asked him I told him about my little know nothing YouTube channel and asked him to come on and talk and about whatever he wanted to talk about. So it's all up to you. What do you want to talk about?
I've been brainstorming on it for a while, and it's something that has been on my mind. It's I would like to hear the response from other people about relationships and how someone my age, which I guess I just realized that I'm middle-aged now, that is still single.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a train wreck when it comes to those. I mean, I mean, I don't know, I mean, the question of, I went to a meeting one time and the guy asked the question, he says, what do women want? And, he says, it's really simple. He says, they want security. They want to be able to turn the lights on and the lights come on. They want a roof over their head, a car that drives. They want security, want the basic stuff. And they want to know that you are the most important, or that they are the most important thing in their life. And they want to hear it every single second of every day. And it's, really simplistic. But I mean, ever since I went there, I've tried to do those things and it hasn't worked out for me, bro. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I just feel that, there's a lot of females right now that they feel that they find their self-worth in feeling like they have to be caregivers, and so, me as an independent man, I don't really need anything from a female. I don't need you to cook, clean. I don't need your money. I don't need you to do any of that, raise my kids. I did all that myself.
Right.
But it seems like there's a lot of females that get intimidated by that.
Well, I mean, doing that goes against what, Hollywood and culture has told us, right? I mean, because we're men, we're supposed to be incompetent. We don't have the ability to cook. We don't have the ability to change diapers. We're stupid when it comes to basic stuff. I mean, how many movies have been made of, guys living at home and suddenly they're like, oh my gosh, it's so hard to vacuum and take care of the kids. I mean, that's what we're told, right?
Right.
So here there's you. I mean, you raised all your kids and took care of them yourself and fed them, clothed them, took them to school, did the late night vomit cleanup, stuff like that. And you're an anomaly.
Right. Well, and what stuff that I think that needs to be talked about is basically just how do we sit over there and all get our own internal validation, like what makes us feel whole, it seemed like to me two whole people coming together, would be the best thing, not, one being broken or both of them being broken, trying to come together, But it just seems like to me, I've been having issues. I don't know if it's really with the females or it just might be me not, I'm just not going for a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of shenanigans, I'm trying to stay stress-free, happy, you know what I mean? And
well, yeah, your tolerance level is like, I'm not going to deal with that.
There you go. That's a good one. Tolerance. I got a low tolerance for shenanigans.
Yeah. I will say this. I will say this, and I've noticed this about, I've always had kind of a weird thing. I mean, even when I was, when I was in my 20s, I was in my 20s and I didn't like 20-year-olds. I mean, I mean, I
Oh,
guess
yeah.
that I guess because that's the epitome of self-loathing. I mean, you're 20 something and you don't like, people your own age. But
Right.
I've always had a thing against kind of, younger females in general, primarily
Right.
because I just didn't consider them to be, intelligent. I mean, they're just,
Right.
because you
Right.
you always got to deal with. I mean, for me personally, it's like, the younger they are, you got to deal with bullshit. You got to do it.
Right.
Once they get a
Right.
little bit older, it's like suddenly they figure it out. They're not sitting on a gold mine, you know. They're
Right.
not,
Right.
they're not like, oh, you saw me naked. I mean, it's like, it's like they get
Right.
over that bullshit and they come into
Right.
their own. And then there's suddenly somebody that you can actually talk to, interact with, and you can enjoy their company. And they're
Right.
not
Right.
holding it over your head like it's some gift.
And what I've done found with those are always taken up. Those ones are already in relationships, or already married, or whatever, like, but you're right. Yeah, you're right.
I mean,
About the
I was
age.
gonna say, I mean, you've experienced that too, right?
Oh, yeah, 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 for sure, for sure. And I just feel like it might be timing as well. Like maybe just personally, my personal timing has just been messed up. You know what I mean? Like
Well, I
I'm
mean,
I'm available, they're not, they're available, they're, you know what I mean? Like one of those type of timing type things.
but you've also been focusing on raising kids and stuff like that too. So,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So when it comes time for finding someone that's on the same page as me at the same time is critical. Yeah, it's
yeah,
critical. Yeah, yeah. What about I had something else I just wanted to ask. Maybe just ask you, is
that's me.
what about I feel that, when females know that I'm goal orientated, I am driven, do you understand? It seems like it's just intimidating for some reason. It seems like,
Well,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I've heard it from a lot of females too that feel
I,
intimidated by it.
I think that one thing that I would say, and when you mentioned it earlier, one thing that kind of stood out to me, and I've seen it in relationships, and I think it's a devastating thing. But there's almost like a competition thing going on. So you got the woman competing with the man, or the man competing with the woman, and I don't personally understand that. I mean, I
Right,
don't my brain doesn't go there. I mean, I always
right,
considered the uh the sexes to be, the same but different. I mean,
right,
we're the same as in we're people, but we bring different things to the table. And
right,
they complement each other. And
right.
so it's not like, I mean, if I walk into the kitchen and there's a sink full of dirty dishes and I've got time, I'm gonna throw them in the fucking dishwasher. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not gonna be like, hey, honey, you got to go do this. So I
right,
mean, a lot of that, I don't quite understand. But on the other hand,
right,
it's like, if the lawn needs mowed, okay,
right.
I'm not gonna expect my lady
Hold
to
on.
go out pushing a lawnmower, man.
Right,
I mean,
right, right,
if
right,
I can't, if I physically can't, because I'm not there, then I get it. But if I'm there, if I'm present, no, fuck no, that's my job.
right,
I mean,
right,
that's
right.
I mean, I don't think that she can't do it. I mean, obviously, I think she can, but it's like
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't want her to.
Right,
It's like,
right,
so
right,
I mean,
right.
so I think that, on some level, and once again, you've got this younger generation that,
Mm,
I'm not gonna make dinner because, I'm not gonna.
right.
It's like shit, man. Some of these
Yeah.
women, they can't even cook a meal. It's like, what the hell,
Yeah, yeah.
you
And
know?
I don't have a problem with that, because honestly, I love to cook. And if you can't cook, get out the kitchen and I'll handle it.
Right,
But and at least I know I'm gonna have some good food. So I ain't gotta worry about that if I'm cooking it.
right,
So
right.
but
But I mean,
another question,
the point is there. The point is there. There's
right,
nowadays it's kind of like, okay, what are you bringing to the table really? Because, is there anything there that I guess the thing that really pisses me off, and maybe this is a thing for you, I don't know, but for me, a lot of times when I'm approached online or whatever, it's all
uh-huh,
sexual. It's all sexual. It's all
for
this and this. It's like, they think
real.
it's like, okay, you got two boobs and an ass. It's like, you know,
Right,
how is that
right,
different than all the rest of the women. I mean, there's nothing different there. They all come with that. I mean, if you're looking for a
Right.
woman, they're going to have that. So it's like, I
Right.
mean, is there something beyond that that's interesting, or
Well,
because that's easy to get, that.
well, yeah, but I feel there's a lot of females that expect that. Well, I don't know about other dudes, but it seems like they expect that from me, and it seems like that's what they automatically think when I'm trying to communicate with them. They always want to divert to sex, like, oh,
Right.
I didn't say nothing about no sex. Now I'm a real dude. So if it's about sex for me, I'm gonna say something
Because
immediately.
they're
You're gonna
talking to
know.
20 something
Yeah,
knuckle draggers whose brains aren't fully developed, and that's all
yeah,
they're hitting every single thing they
yeah,
possibly can. You get beyond that age group category, and it's like, hey, dude,
right,
I've already got that. I've had plenty of that. I know how
right,
to get that. If I want that
right,
tonight, I can pick up
right,
the phone and make a phone call
yeah,
and have that. I
right,
want something
right,
beyond that.
right, right. Well, I feel the older that I get, is you need something to bring to the table, basically. I
Right.
mean, with college and high school and being an athlete, I mean, that the action of just the sex thing is nothing to me. I mean, it's just the action. I need more. I want to be able to have intercourse with somebody and really fall asleep, like,
Right. And not worry about your
but
wallet being stolen or being stabbed in the
yeah,
back.
but if there ain't no substance there, I'm out of there,
Right.
and probably on to the next, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
you know,
Because
but
it's easy to
but
get.
there's another question I wanted to ask. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
You're good.
you said something about age. And so, when I sit over and think about truthful, right? You hear females constantly, well, you could just tell me the truth. Just tell me the truth. And me, the first thing that comes to my mind is you can't handle the truth. You know what I mean? But I wanted to know, just for your own personal stuff, um, I feel people call me brutally honest, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked myself, why am I feel it's a season that I'm older. And I asked myself, like, yo, am I really being totally honest for them or for myself? Yeah.
Right.
So I can look in the mirror and be happy with who I see. Like there's one thing you can't call me is a liar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or anything like that. So am I really doing that for them, or am I doing it for me, or am I doing it for us? How do you feel about just being honest? Do you feel that you could totally be honest with a female?
I think that, I mean, obviously that goes into, I mean, from my personal perspective, I think that goes into personality traits. The
Yeah.
Enneagram, I talk a little bit about that. I've on my website, larsonsblog.com. There's a tab for Enneagram. You can discover what your personality type is. There's some personality types where that's very important to them to adhere to
Right.
that. And then there's
Uh-huh.
some that, they'll scrabble through it. Me personally, I'm a type 8. So one of the reasons why we always got along so well is because I gravitate towards people that are honest,
Right.
and the ones that aren't, I kind of like, I'm done, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I've been called the same thing, brutally honest.
Right.
I will be, I talked to a friend of mine about something like that. And she told me one time, and I didn't think of it this way, but she says, honesty without empathy is abuse. Honesty without empathy is abuse. And that really, I really thought about that, because it's like sometimes it's like, I'm being brutally honest. Okay.
Right.
But I'm not considering how I'm coming across to somebody else. So I'm not really doing it for them and their benefit. I'm doing it for me.
Right.
You know what I
And
mean?
I and
If you don't have empathy, you're losing it.
mhm, mhm. Well, I think, like I said, just the definition of that needs to be broke down, empathy, because I feel like it's perception, right?
Okay.
So everybody has their own choice on how they perceive some stuff as a positive or a negative, and then you act on it, right?
Right.
So if I honestly perceive this, or if I'm just one of those type of people that just always take stuff in a defensive manner, they're always going to perceive some stuff that way, you know?
Always going to be
You
on the
know,
defensive. Yeah.
you're always going to be on the defensive, you know what I'm saying? But when you sit over there and talk about empathy, is that mean, I mean, maybe it needs to be broke down, like, break it down for me, empathy.
Well, I mean, you need to consider what what you're saying to the person you're saying it to. Because once
Right,
again, I mean, when the whole goal behind being truthful and honest is to open up lines of communication and build trust, right? I mean, that's why we're doing that. So in our
right,
head, we're like, I'm going to be brutally honest because, especially if you're with a woman, because you're like, I want to build that connection, I want to build that relationship, you know.
right.
So, but if she's standing there in front of me in a nice dress, and she says, "How do I look?" and I've noticed she's gained some pounds, and I'm like, "Well, you look fat in that dress." I mean, that's not really the great way
Right,
to, you know.
right,
I mean, I'd have to
right.
consider, that, how
So,
I
so
said something, even though what I said may have been honest. The way I said it may not have been the best way to say it. So instead of my goal of building trust, I've actually
mhm.
broken it down because the next time she puts a dress on, she's not going to come to me and ask,
I mean, if you want the truth, for sure. But what I'm what I'm trying to say though is they I feel that do you want me to tell you the truth? I always say this to people. Do you want the truth or do you want me to be politically correct? That's how I feel that, okay, I'm just going to tell you what you want to hear. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I have problems with that. I mean, if you want, I'll ask, I do that to everybody. Like, do you want me to be honest or do you want me to say to be politically
I
correct?
think you've
You know,
actually
and I
said that to
feel,
me before, to be totally honest.
I
I
know, I
think you
say that to
have.
everybody, right? I
Yeah.
say that to everybody, right? And so, and that's what I mean by that. And I guess that's what you're talking about. Like, I don't know if that's what you mean by empathy. Like you're
No.
considering what somebody else might feel by the words that you're saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, you're
Right. And I
considering
get
how
that.
you're coming across. You're
No,
gonna
I
you're
get that.
taking into
So,
consider how you're coming across.
right. So I get that. I feel that that is called tone, pitch, body language, all of the above, right?
Right.
So if you're not trained in that or whatever, I don't know no long word. I call it sugarcoating. I don't know how to sugarcoat it. I don't know no long words. I'll just go ahead and give it to you both barrels and you. And so when it comes time for Kim Price, you know what to expect. I don't care what it is. Don't call me thinking that, oh, well, he's going to be the one that's going to help me feel good and sugarcoat it. No, Kim is going to be the one that's going to put that mirror in front of your face and be like, yo, all the situations might be jacked up, but what are our actions in that? You understand me?
But when you get to
And
get to know a woman, when you get to,
right.
and I mean not just physically, but on a mentally emotional level, which is the goal, for all you young
Yeah.
fuckers out there that are dumber than a box of rocks. When
Right.
you get to know a woman like that, I mean, you have an idea of how
Uh-huh.
they're going to respond, and you
Oh
have
yeah.
an idea of what's going to really hurt them. And
Oh yeah.
and typically, I mean, if once again, if you're in a situation where they're asking you for the truth, you're not going to deliberately want to be out to hurt them. You want it to be constructive,
True. True.
and you're going to
True.
know that.
True. Well, I most definitely verbalize that for sure. And I try to show it through my actions
So you're
that
not giving
anything that
you're
comes.
not giving anything up. I mean to cut you off, but I mean you're not giving anything up by being empathetic or thinking about how you're saying something. Is my point. You can still be truthful. You're still telling the truth. You're not
Right.
sugarcoating it. You're just delivering
Right.
it in a way that's gonna be the most
Right.
receptive.
Oh, I agree with you. I mean, like I said, I'll tell females like maybe those are things that I do need to work on. Maybe. Anyway, what I'm saying? But
I don't think it goes away.
yeah, I'm not opposed to it. You know what I'm saying? And I'll tell people that, look, maybe I apologize if you took it the wrong way.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't apologize for what I said, but how, like you said, I presented it or you know what I mean? I apologize if you took it in a negative way. You understand? But
Yeah. I mean, you can
this is
definitely.
another,
I'll
go
let you
ahead.
finish.
Oh, this is another reason why I feel that I have to be honest though, is and being straight as possible so I could get away from, well, I assumed, I speculated, I thought you said this or you meant this or you meant that. You can't say that about Kim Price because he gave it to you. Don't take it for no more, no less. It
Right.
ain't rock, you know what I mean? And I try
Right.
to keep it right there, and so, but I don't know if that's the right or wrong. I don't know if that's why I'm still single. I don't know.
Well,
You
I
know,
mean, like I said, I mean, the only thing I know in that regard is the empathy part. I mean, you got to keep an eye on that because I mean, you know who you're talking to if it's a lady you're with, so you want to make sure that you're being constructive. And I don't think you're
Oh
giving,
yeah.
I don't think you're giving anything up that way by doing that. But I mean,
No.
the fact that we're having a conversation about honesty
Right.
is, I think, somewhat different than how guys are perceived in general. I mean, yeah, especially when it comes to their ladies, because I think a lot of ladies are of the opinion that guys are just going to lie to them. You know,
Right.
they're just going to lie to them. It's like, well, what
Right.
were you doing after work? Oh, well, I just stopped by the store for this or something. I mean,
Right.
you know, I mean, shit like that. I mean,
Well,
I've gone to strip clubs with guys before, and they were worried about telling their lady about it.
right.
You
Right.
know, it's
Right.
like, what is she, your fucking mom? Are you going to get in trouble? I mean, are you going to
Right.
be grounded?
Right.
I mean, I'm asking them. It's like, what the
Right.
shit? You're a grown man.
Right.
If you decide to go to a strip club, then you went to a strip club. You better go
Right.
pony up. If you are with a woman that's a bad thing, she's going to be upset with you. Why the fuck are you going?
Right.
It's like,
Right.
why are you going?
Right.
Why would you
Right.
risk or jeopardize your relationship? Why would you
Yeah.
risk getting in an argument with your lady so you can go see
Right.
some strange trim? I don't get it.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like, you value
And
the relationship or you don't. If you don't value it,
right.
you're going to go and you're going to lie
Right.
about it. If you value it, then you're going to,
Well, those are some of the like the honesty things that I'm talking about. Like, yo, if it's um I feel that looky here, if you say that you drink, right?
right.
I want to go take you to the club so you can drink. I want to see you under the influence. I want to see you mad, happy, sad, this and that to give me a chance to deal with it or don't, period. You know, and whatever you do in front of my face, I wouldn't expect you to do anything less away from me,
Right.
right? So if
Yeah.
you do like,
The actions have to match the words.
yeah, so if you do go to strip clubs, let me just go with you and see how you be acting with your homeboys at the strip club. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And then I wouldn't expect you to do anything less, So, I just don't want to, I mean, as quick as, like you said, the actions have to sit up and follow up with the words. I tell females, especially females, I don't want you to believe anything that comes out of my mouth because I'm pretty sure you heard it already a million times, right?
Right.
Only thing I want from you is an opportunity to show you. That's it. That's it. You know what I mean? Because I'm pretty sure you done heard all this a million times.
Yeah.
So I just want you to just go ahead and hang out with me and let me go ahead and show you how I roll.
And just
Yeah.
for the record, once again, for all you 20-something losers out there, I think that if you don't have the stones
Right.
to own up to what you do as a man,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
you're just a piece of shit, but you're a weak man. I mean, you're just a weak person. I mean, it's like, oh my God.
Or you're just going through the phases. You just got to learn. Now, for me, I
Your
think mine
brain
came.
isn't fully developed. It needs to
Yeah.
grow.
Yeah. I mean, I feel mine came with age, so it was something that I'm not ashamed of anymore. I'm not embarrassed. I'm not ashamed. I'm not none of that. Do you understand me? I'm happy where I'm at. I love the man that I see in the mirror, right? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It's now I'm not saying I'm perfect or whatever. I know that I need work, and I'm
Right.
not scared to, take heed from other folks that got knowledge for me.
Right.
So, but I just think it's a discussion that needs to be talked about, especially when it comes time for relationships, man. I feel that I'm a king and I need a queen to help run my kingdom. You know what I mean? So, but I need an equal partner, you know what I'm saying? So, and
Yeah, well,
it's tough.
that's the rub, isn't it? Because, you know,
Right.
I
Right.
I think that I think it's slim pickings, bro. I don't know how else to
Well,
say it. But
well, it's something I asked my mom about. Should I lower my standards? Right. And she said, hell no, baby. You don't never do that. You know what I mean? She
right.
was like, that there's somebody out there made just for you. You know what I mean? So it's just timing, I feel, take your time, chill out. And and I'm okay with who I am and where I'm at right now. If this is the plan, the ultimate plan, so be it, and guess what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to enjoy this. I don't care what I'm doing. I'm going to enjoy the moment.
Well, my hat's off to you, my friend. I've become bitter, cynical, and angry. So I'm not, I mean, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna take a hard pass right now. I mean, that's kind
For
of funny.
real?
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck this shit. So anyway, what, you gotta own
Yeah.
it, right? So it's
Right,
like,
right.
people,
Why bitter though?
huh?
Why bitter?
Why bitter? Why are you asking me questions, man? I don't
You
need to be
said you
answering
said
questions
you
like this.
said bitter and cynical because we might be sitting over there helping ourselves out by, you might be have some for us.
No, you're welcome.
No,
You're welcome.
no.
No, I just, like I said, I mean, for me personally, I yeah, I think I might be allergic. So I'm allergic.
Right,
I'm
right,
allergic.
right.
No, it's just one of those things, man. I mean,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
so
Well,
I've learned that that sometimes it's better just to not.
right. Well, what I was talking about the bitter part though is like I'm not gonna get mad at the situations. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to like ever take any losses. So I turn the losses into lessons. You know what I'm saying? The L doesn't mean loss, the L means lesson.
Well,
And
you are a
so
greater man than me, and I will drown in my bitterness. Thank you. Intensely.
what I'm trying to say is regardless of what you're doing, you know what I'm saying, or where you're at right now, I just feel wherever I'm at right now, I have to find a way to enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? So, might be in between or whatever females or whatever, but I'm still going to enjoy that moment. You understand? So I can't let anyone or anything steal my joy. And that's just where I'm at with it. Is the negativity and the stress, this and that. I understand that it'll probably that alone could kill me. Now, some people might be stronger than me, but
Well,
I
I'm
understand.
just gonna stand back and just poke a little bit, make sure it's
Yeah.
real first. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah. Test the waters, make sure your
Fuck.
foot's in there, make sure the water's cool before you jump in head first. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
I have the worst judgment on the planet. I
Oh
have
yeah.
bad judgment, man. I have bad judgment.
Really?
I can't for the life of me. I suck.
I
Which
mean,
is why
have
I
you
said
tried?
this subject's a bad subject for me. I'm not good at this subject.
Well, it's a subject. You know what I'm saying? That's what we
It's
hear.
a subject. All the subjects we could have come up with, this is the one
It
you throw on the
is,
table
man, why not? It's a start. We got to crawl before we walk. It's
because
all
you
good.
hate me.
Look, hey, but no, like so what I'm trying to figure out is I tried different things, right? Like, okay, of course, as a youngster, we go with eye candy, right? We want that trophy, blah, 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 right? And then you run into looks good but has no brains. You know what I mean? Like, then I tried the whole they would say, oh, well, you need to become friends before lovers type of thing, right? And so I did it on purpose, and it's kind of jacked up, but I did it on purpose. I had the girl that was a really good friend, right?
Yeah.
And then we crossed the line, in the bedroom, it just wasn't working. And she knew it was garbage, right? So, and then I had the one that, well, let's just go ahead and work the bedroom stuff first, and then try to be friends later. Both of them didn't work out,
Right.
but the one that hurt me the most was the friend. I lost a friend,
Yeah.
the other one, I still talk to this day, like, you know what I mean? Whatever. So what that told me was to just enjoy the moment, regardless. Let's not put so much on it at the beginning, jumping in head first, right? But
Well,
let's
I
just
mean,
enjoy.
but is that what you did? I mean, I mean, the friendship, is that you put too much on? I mean, you were friends first, and then the bedroom came around, and you said that's where things fell apart. Is that because you just put too much on it? You thought there was going to be fireworks right away, and because sometimes it takes practice, bro. You got to keep working at it. I'm just saying.
It was trash. So, you know what I mean? So, and that's just the way that
We'll
works.
talk details later when we're not doing this.
Yeah, it's just the way that worked. And so we don't talk anymore. Like, we should have never crossed that line. You understand?
Now,
When it comes time for trying to be friends before lovers, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
it's just like they call it the friend zone. Once you get into the friend zone, stay there, player. Like, stay in your lane, stay in your lane, so. But, I'm not saying that that's every situation. It's just my own personal situation, you know. And what I got out of those two situations was quit putting so much on stuff and just enjoy the moment and let stuff happen organically, you know. And I'm okay with that personally. I'm okay with that. I
Right.
don't know if other people are, or other females
Well, I
are.
mean, if I'm interested in somebody, I make it known. I want to know if they're interested in me. If it's a hard pass, if they're like, I'm not interested in you, then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna suck it up. I'm gonna go away, move on to the
Right,
next. But outside of
right,
that, it's like, no, I don't
right,
think that there's a specific date or time or timeline that you have to.
right.
Okay, now we have to. Now it's official. Now we got to get married. Now we got to do this. I mean,
Right.
I did that with my first wife, and that didn't turn out too great. So,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And see, and that's another thing too, is I'd never been married. So, you
well, I
know,
was married, and I was told that once you had sex, the right thing to do was to marry him, and so I tried to follow that
yeah,
timeline, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we had some good times, but
Right.
didn't work out, and I learned to
Right.
never do that again. So,
Well, I mean, you jumped the broom though, you know, you made that commitment, you know, with somebody. Now, if it worked out, it worked out. If it did, it didn't. But I'm I can honestly say I'm scared. I'm a punk. I ain't never did it. Look, I don't, yeah, I don't know about the marriage thing.
marriage is no. I'm not. I think marriage is good. I'm not. I'm an advocate for marriage. I don't think it's a
Yeah,
bad thing at all. I'm not against
yeah,
marriage at
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah.
No, it's a good thing, dude. I mean, this whole horse shit of playing the field and stuff. It sucks. You know,
Right,
it sucks.
right,
I
right,
mean, you don't actually get to know anybody, man. I mean, you're doing that, but
right.
when you're married and you're with them, it's like it's different. You know.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And so that was another thing that, you know, my mother sat over there and said was, you know, you've been so stuck in your ways for so long, you probably couldn't live with nobody. She was like, if you marry somebody, you probably have to live in separate houses and still go do the husband duties, this and that, go by the house, mow the lawn, this and that. Hey, babe, you know, keep it, you know what I mean? But, you know, who knows? I mean, like I said, I have been, you know, independent and living by myself for a while. And, you know, I don't
Well, I
know.
mean, but Kim, I mean, really, I mean, yeah, in some ways, I don't, they say that marriage is a ball and chain, right? You've heard of
Okay.
that. They say it's a.
Ball and chain. Yeah.
I've never viewed marriage as a captive thing. It's always, to me, it's always been more freeing.
Right.
Suddenly
Right.
you can relax, you can chill, you can, you know, hang out with
Uh-huh.
somebody that hopefully likes the same interests as you and does the same stuff,
Right. Right.
and you can
I
actually.
mean, I agree. I agree with just relationships is work. You know, I try to tell people like when you're in a relationship, every time you leave the house, you're representing somebody other than yourself, you know? Like
Well,
you can't be out there acting.
it
Go ahead.
definitely. I didn't mean to cut you off. Finish what you're saying.
No, go ahead. No, no.
I got stuck on what you said. I'm like, I just went with it. It definitely challenges your, who you are as a person, who you're thinking about, who you're thinking
Right.
about. Are you thinking about
Right.
you? Are you thinking about somebody else? Or,
Right.
I mean, you got
Right.
to keep that in mind.
Well, you know, it's something my grandmother told me. She was like, yo, you know, you could always tell what type of dude that dude is depending on who he has on his arm, you know? Like if he thinks he's a good dude and he has a dishwater female, what does that say for him? You know? Like you can tell it's what's that one saying, birds that fly together, flock together, or what they call
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Thinking,
So
I
so we're representing each other, you know, like every time we leave the house we're representing each other. I can't be out there acting a fool and then my significant other thinks that she's a good female. Well, what do you guys have in common, you know? Like
I think that, I mean, that shit, I agree with that to a certain extent. Okay.
mhm,
So I was with the lady one time and she popped off with, you think you got a trophy wife or a trophy lady or something. And I made the mistake of answering honestly because I was like, I never thought of her that way. You
right,
know, I
right,
mean, I didn't mean it disrespectful, but it's like
right,
I didn't treat her as this, you know, achievement or trophy or an accomplishment. I mean, that's not how it equated in my brain. But yeah, she was actually offended by that. So
wait a minute, what did you say to her?
dude, well,
Man,
I
we all want to know.
no, and see, this is bad. Well, because I didn't, that's not why I was with her. I didn't think of her that way. And she popped off with that as if it was a good thing. And I was like, well, wait a minute. I hadn't really heard the term a lot, you know? So then I heard that
Okay.
term and I'm like, well, that to me in my brain, when she said that, was reducing her to an object, like a trophy. And
Oh,
so for me,
right, right.
it's a negative thing. So I was like, no, that's not, I've never thought
Okay.
of you that way. I don't view you that way. And she was pissed at me, dude.
Oh yeah, like
Pissed
she
at
thought,
me.
oh, you think I'm ugly? Or yeah, yeah.
And that wasn't my intent.
Right,
I didn't know that that was a positive thing in her brain, because to me it
right,
wasn't. I mean, I
right,
so I mean, I get what you're saying to a certain extent, but on the
right,
other hand, it's like,
right,
I don't know.
right.
I mean,
Well, shit.
there's a lot of guys out there with this something something on their arm that's all fine, and that
Right,
all fine is the spawn of Satan.
right. Well, see, and that's what I'm talking about right there. That's what I wanted to get to was, me as a businessman, right?
Right.
If you're not helping me, you're hurting me. Okay.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't need no, I don't need no weights,
that goes
right?
beyond
Holding me
looks
down.
though, bro.
Well, what I'm trying to say though is, you got to understand that every time you leave that door, you're representing me. You know what I mean? Like, don't be over there go out the door and be hurting me. You know what I mean? Help a brother out. Answer the phone once in a while. Can you do my books for me? You know what I'm saying?
Actually,
Something,
yeah,
like,
be part of a team. I
yeah,
get it. No, I get it.
yeah, exactly.
And in something like that, I would say, yeah, I mean, that would be the man, that would be like the perfect. And how do you do that?
Right,
You know?
right. And and I'm not saying that doesn't go both ways as well, you know, and I'm down with that. Like, if you're adamant about some stuff, I'm with you. I'm with you from the womb to the tomb. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if you want to do this or do that, let me know how I can help. Period. Because if you like it, I love it. Do you understand? So
See,
as
and
long as it helps,
that's actually more of a subject. I mean, as far as the men today
right,
in their role and stuff, it's
right,
like they don't do it. They don't know.
right. Well, I think that's why it's good to be having these conversations. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And who knows, I mean, like I said, I cut hair too, you know what I mean? So me in the barber shop, I've done heard all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
And one of the common things that I hear, is I'm a player, I'm a pimp, I'm a woo 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 woo, right?
Right.
And and so I stopped this one dude, and I was glad there was a lot of people in there waiting. I said, man, what makes you think that you're a player or a pimp, bruh? And he called it ism, the talk. Oh, I got that ism. He got game, he said, right? And
Yeah.
I said, fool, there ain't nothing you can say to a female they ain't heard a million times, right? And then he said, but I'm laying that pipe. And I said, you big dummy. I said, they can go to a store and get what we got that vibrate and gyrates with two heads
Right.
and all of that, you know what I'm saying, without the stupid fool hooked up to it. You know what I
Right.
mean? We as men need to just be blessed to be in their bubble. Do you understand me? Because
Right.
I feel that they already have something in their head, like a script already in their head, and they're just allowing us to play it, right?
Yeah.
That's just how I feel. But once you can sit over there and get a female that's down with your script and you're down with hers, I feel that's the key,
Yeah, but
like,
how do you get men to, I mean, frankly, because like I said, when it comes to relationships, for me personally, I tend to gravitate towards hammering on the guys, because I think that the guys, for the most part, women typically want to be, in a relationship and blah, blah, blah. It's the guys that end up dropping the ball one way or the other. I mean, from my personal, I mean, for what I've seen,
right. I
and
agree.
they don't do basic shit. It's like
I
basic
agree.
shit.
I agree, but that's why I feel that we need to have these conversations amongst men, like, yo, we do need to step up to the plate. Do you understand me?
Like the lying thing we talked about earlier,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Tell
They
the
don't
truth.
have
We
the
call it.
stones. They don't have the stones to own up to their own shit. They
Yeah,
still think and behave like children. So then they
right,
act like children, and they treat their lady like it's their mom or parent that they're going to get in trouble with.
right.
They got no backbone. Fucking weak.
Well, I feel that it's because they've been getting away with it, right? So, I've heard all kinds of stuff, like especially like on a dating site or something like that. You hear all these war stories from these females, right?
Right.
And so, oh, and they be sending crazy pics or this or that or blah blah blah. And I'm just like, the first thing that comes in my head is like, how? Who made you feel comfortable enough to do that? You know what I mean? How many times did that work for you? Or if it never worked for you, why do you keep doing that dumb stuff? You know? So, it's, I don't know. I mean, I would like to talk to females and ask how many females that stuff doesn't work. Like, do you demand? I mean, why should a dude ask you for your hand in marriage? Not unless you sit over there and demand that. Like, you have to sit over there and be like, this is what I'm about. If you want the cookies, this is what you're gonna have to do. I mean, if a girl sits over there and says dudes need to jump on one foot and bark like a dog if they want the cookies, guess what? All you're gonna see a gang of dudes out there barking on one foot.
Right.
I mean, we're gonna do whatever you know what I mean? And so I just feel that I love a female for being a female. You understand? Just
Yeah.
because of all the stuff that they have to go through just to be a female. Okay. Do you you should expect that respect. You should expect, you know what I'm saying, a dude to cherish you. You feel me?
Right.
Just because you're a female. That I don't know no dude that is strong enough to just be a female. You know what I mean? They have to go through stuff monthly. And let's not have no kids. Then each trimester is a different phase of craziness.
No.
And then after the kid, what's they call that after the kid? They said that's the worstest one. What is that called again?
That postpartum depression or some bullshit.
There you go. That's
I
it.
didn't say bullshit. It's not bullshit. It's real.
No, that's
It's a
it.
real thing.
Right? So, hey, just imagine if you already had kids and then you have to go through all of that. And then you got the stupid fool that got you pregnant. You know what I mean?
Right.
Oh my God.
Who's like,
Oh
my
my God,
job's
no.
done. I'm leaving
Oh,
now. The
man,
fuck,
bro, I love females just because they're females. And better them than me, basically.
respect.
But
Respect.
you know what I mean? So, so I get it, you know what I'm saying? But, for me, it's just, I'll roll with you. And I'm not saying I totally understand because I'm not a female, but, through some classes and all this, I went through a menstrual cycle class one time and it just blew my mind, and I came home crying to my mom, like, I'm just so sorry. Because I was that bad little kid when she was having kids,
Right.
And my mom had to move from districts, cities, states, all because of me, you know what I mean? So I love her for it. You know what I'm saying? I love every female. I don't care, just for you being a female. I got you. You know what I mean? But I think a whole lot of men need to try to understand that just because you go to work and you come home, just give me the remote and have my food ready, man, get out of here. Try to raise these kids while you're at work, without throwing them in the.
Those days have been gone for like 2 decades.
Yeah. Okay, so let's say that, right? So now you don't have the stay-at-home moms no more, right? So that means they got to get out in the workforce, right?
Right.
And still be a female.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you still got to be a counselor, mommy homemaker, freak in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
like,
Dad's got it easier. I'll give that hands down. We got
So I just think it's timing, you know what I'm saying, to catch somebody at the right time.
But it's
have the
even that.
same goal.
It's even that, guys have it so much easier, and that part that's they can't even, some of these guys can't even do that, man.
Right.
They can't even do that. Something as simple as, hey, it's the evening, you got the weekend, whatever, you just got home from work, take the kids, go do something with them. I mean, it was a weird thing for me when my daughter went to college in Arizona, because for almost 20 years, man, And for
Uh,
20 years, man, every evening and weekend, it was like me and the kids, we're going to go rock and roll,
right.
we were out the door. So, I mean, I found myself in a place where I was alone,
Yeah.
you know,
That transition was
and it's
crazy, huh?
like, so I mean, these
Yeah.
guys that are like, they don't take their kids with them. They don't do, it doesn't register in my brain. I don't get that,
Right.
Um,
So where did you get that from? Just the pop stepping up, doing things.
I think, well, I mean, I came from a family, dad was there, you know,
My point exactly, right?
dad was
We
there.
need we need to be the beacon. We need to be the guideline. We need to set the bar, us as elders, middle age, whatever, for our young men. You understand?
Right.
And we need to show them through our walk, you know?
But that's one of the reasons why I was saying, when it comes to relationships, I hammer more on that, because you find these single mothers, raising kids by themselves. And if you ask them, I mean, they're not glorifying it and going, yeah, this is great. They're like, fuck no, I'd like some help, I'd like some
Right,
freaking
right,
help. I
right.
didn't plan of raising this kid by myself. Raising your kids by yourself works great when you've got money, when you're rich, when you fit into
Right,
that
right,
category where you can snap your fingers and throw $500 at somebody and they're going to show up to help. But when you're
right.
like the rest of the world, which is like 99.9% of the planet, raising
Right.
kids is a two people deal, dude.
Oh
And you
yeah,
gotta be there.
especially now. Yeah,
You
yeah.
got to be
I
there
mean,
as a
like I
dad, as a man. You got to be there.
well, like I said, I was a single father, so I give it all up to the single mothers for centuries doing it before me. I get it now,
Right.
and I apologize for all them ham sandwich dudes that wasn't there. You know what I mean? Because it
Yeah.
really necessarily didn't have to be you bringing in all this money, but you just needed to be there. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you could have played mommy homemaker at home. I could have went and made the money.
Right.
But just to be there, it's and there was times where it was tough for me. And I just thank God that, I had 7 sisters, you know what I mean, to come watch the kids when they was asleep. So I could go buff floors and paint, do interior paint just to make the ends meet.
Right.
So, but everybody doesn't have it like that. So you're totally right. It's tough. It's tough. Yeah. I got like 8% on this phone, man.
All right, man. So we're going to wrap it up.
Um, yeah, man, I dig you, man. I dig this, man. This is good.
Was this okay?
This is good,
I
man.
told you it's just you and me talking, man. That's it.
Yeah, this is good, man. So how does a person sit over there and get a hold of this segment?
What I'll do is I'll post it up onto the YouTube channel, and you'll have I'll
Okay,
send you the link, and you'll be able to
okay,
send it to whoever you want.
okay. Well,
So,
I think that we need to get out by the masses as much as we can.
well, it ain't going to be masses on that channel, bro. There's like 3 people.
I'm just not yet, not yet, not yet. There we go. Look.
30 years from now, it might be something, but
Uh, hey, either or, you know what I'm saying? I'm patient. We can go ahead and
no,
make
but
it happen though.
if you're willing to come back, we'll talk about some other stuff.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I dig it. Yeah,
Okay.
I dig it. All right, man. Hey, man, stay safe, man, and deuces with 2 fingers.
That's right. Thanks for watching, everybody, and go ahead and visit the website, www.larsonsblog.com, and thanks for watching.